Hello everybody and welcome to my tutorial on how to install Windows in a freighter in No Man's Sky through turning off build restrictions. Um, this tutorial is for players on PC. Unfortunately, it won't work for you if you play on a console. However, if you know a PC player that could come in and visit your freighter, they could install the Windows there for you. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to need to do is we're going to need to go and change some settings in our game file. So let's hop out to the desktop and get that taken care of first. Alright, so I've popped out to the desktop and here's No Man's Sky in Steam. I'm going to right click on No Man's Sky and hit Properties. Then Properties, go over to the tab that says Local Files, Browse Local Files, which will bring up this window. Then you want to double click on Binaries and Settings. Now in here there's several different files. The one that we're looking for is this tk-graphics-settings.mxml. You may not have a program that will natively open this, so just click on Search Through Windows, Search, and you can use Notepad, will work just fine. Once you get in here, we're going to do find base building because that's what we're going to find to change. And then you see this line that says remove base building restrictions. Value equals false. We don't want that to be false. We want that to be true. So we're going to change that to true and close this down. Do I want to save that? Yes, I do want to save that. And then we can close out of here. Now I know not everybody likes to do stuff through Steam, so if you'd prefer, you can just go into your files and find C, Program Files 86, Steam, Steam Apps, Common, No Man's Sky, Binaries, Settings, and it's going to give you the exact same information here. And so you'll come to this tk-graphics-settings.mxml and change that value again, just like I showed you. Okay, so let's pop back into game and install some Windows. Alright, so now I'm back in my freighter and I'm ready to start installing some Windows. One of the first things that I like to do whenever I am going to be building is I like to go into my options and for video, I turn my HUD scale down to about 60%. It's a trick I picked up from Ash Factor, and it's really helpful. And I'm also going to go ahead and go into first person, even though I don't normally build that way. We'll see if it freaks my brain out. But it might make it easier for you guys to see stuff. Okay, so now that we have build restrictions off, we're going to be able to do all kinds of things that we couldn't do before. And you can tell that right away from when I bring up my menu, because normally these would not be available to build on a freighter. Nor would these, nor would a lot of things. So pretty much anything that you can build on a planet, in a base, you can build on a freighter with build restrictions turned off. As long as you can find a way to fit it in there somehow. So the deal with Windows is that the first thing you have to do is get through the wall of this freighter here, right? Now, not just anything will work for that. You can't just like come in here and say, oh, I want a window there and try to put it on the wall. It's not going to take it. What you first have to do is find a way to get through the wall of the freighter. And the way I typically do it is with the cuboid room. And if I use a glass cuboid room, all the better, right? So that will just pop right in there. And then automatically we have an opening to the outside of the freighter. So that becomes a foundation kind of piece for a lot of the windows that we can install in a freighter. There's a lot of different ways that you can install Windows. I have some samples set up here to show you guys and just give you some ideas, and I'm sure everyone will expand on these and come up with all kinds of creative ideas. So here's one of the basic ones to start with. This is using a wall from inside one of the small cuboid rooms. So let's come over here where I have this kind of set up to go. And if we want to put a window in here, then it's not going to let me do that. And put it on the other sides, but not where the wall is. And so that means that we're going to have to glitch it in. So when I come over here and get out my trusty pill lights, something to keep in mind for your planning these windows too is obviously you have these two big gaps on the side that you have to accommodate for, but also if you come over here you can see there's a little gap right here in the floor length also, and so that will be something that you'll want to try and find some different ways to deal with that gap. And I'll show you some ideas of some stuff that I've done before, but so there'll be a lot of ways people come up with to do these. Okay, so I'm going to get my handy little pill light. I'm going to try to keep it straight. If you've built on freighters as much, you know that freighters can be a pain. Things look aligned when they're not. They look unaligned when they are. So it takes a little fidgeting. So I just put the connector for my pill light right under the edge there, so that when I come back over here and put in my window, let's do a different one just for ha-has, as APG would say. So it'll look a little bit different. So hopefully this will look blended in really nice since it's kind of coming out from the bottom of the floor. There we go. Okay, so that looks like it fits pretty well. Now it does still have the pill light in there. Depending on the look you're going for, you can leave the pill light there, or you can take the pill light out. Either way. And to take the pill light out, for example, we just need to go outside. So I'm going to give myself a little door here. And I'm going to go around, put a door here, and go in here, and delete the pill light. And I'm going to get rid of that. And so now I don't have the pill light left anymore in there if that's not the look that I'm going for. And it's closed back up nicely. We got it in. Now we are going to fill this gap, and I'll do it the same way that I did over there to show you how I did that. I just went into Decos, brought up the storage panel, and I sized it up large. And then I think that looks good. Maybe bring that screen down a little bit. Okay. And then I'm going to make these the same color as the wall, so they blend in a little bit better. And there you go. There's your first window installation. Alright, some of you may recognize this window. This is the original window style that me and Action Pants Gaming came up with to install in his freighter. He's the one that got me first interested in putting windows in freighters, and this is very his style. He liked working with these windows. And so let's go ahead and look at how we install windows like this. So I'm going to bring up my handy dandy light, turn it to the side. I'm going to get right up in here, and I'm lining up the nozzle with that connector piece on the middle of the wall right there. I'm going to keep a steady hand and go straight across just until it barely pops up on that wall. Flip it around the other side and do the same thing over here. Line it up. Consistent point. Go straight across. Oh, it's just popped up there. That's right. Okay, so now I'm going to go find my window. I'm using this time. I'm going to blender glitch from the middle to the pill light. And blender and glitch again to the pill light. Maybe. Good. And you'll know right away whether you got it straight or not, because look right there in the middle. It's completely even. You can't even tell that that's two different pieces put together. It looks like it's one solid piece. If it was off a little bit, then you would see it in the line there. Okay, and so like before, you can go outside and delete those lights that I used to glitch the windows in there if you want to. The way that I decorated this one was I kind of made curtains from using the flags. Let me find a flag. If I went the long way around. I don't know which one I used over there, but let's just use this one. I'm going to turn it around so that I have a solid face, solid side facing out, and then size it up. Get the right angle. These space through the ceiling pretty good. So that works out pretty well for windows, for curtains, I mean. And there. On there, and voila, window with curtains. Here is a similar style. This is using a different type of window, same type of design. So let's do it with this window real quick. We're going to pull out our pill light, turn it to the side. Same technique here. Line the nozzle up with the height that's going to work for where you're planning to put your window. Steady hand going across. Flip the light. Go to the other side. Line it up. Excuse me. Steady hand. Going all the way across. There we go. And then we're going to do the different window type this time. I'm going to just go on over and decide to use an underwater one this time. Why not? Okay, so I'm going to blender glitch to this connection. And blender glitch to that connection. No, really. To that connection. There we go. That's better. And then I would go and take those lights out for sure because they're really obvious on this type of window setup. Now you could leave it just like that because this window style kind of covers up the gap on its own. What I did over here was I went back into my decorative items and I used the flat panel. Yeah. And kind of blew it up and edged it into the side. Enough on both sides. And then I colored that the same as the wall. And so it's a smoother kind of connection there. It has the light as a little adornment. But yeah, that's just matter of decorating. So what I did over here was really simpler. Instead of putting a straight window across for that effect, I just left the box there. And so you can just walk in here and be out in the middle of everything and look at stuff. And decorate it that way. Now you do have to account for, if you're going to do something like that, you do have to account for, you know, a couple things. One, you have to do the edges, of course, like we talked about. But then also, if you're gonna leave something where you are actually going in it like that, then you're gonna have to deal with the fact that there's that little zip. Give myself some light to work with here. Because it doesn't look good, and it could be a trip hazard. You don't want a trip hazard on your photo, do you? And so what I did over there in that one is I just came in here and I got these side panels. It kind of has that going down part, and that can be used as a ramp that will keep you from tripping on things and let you walk right up it. Now see what I mean about freighters? I just moved forward and it didn't keep my orientation of how I rotated already. That's because freighters are weird. They have a life of their own. So I'm just going to make this small. And I can make it small enough that it'll slide right under that lip. Right there. A little bit more. That's good. And it would be nice sometimes if these would snap together, but they don't. So we're just going to line them up real carefully. And there you go. Wouldn't even know. I've installed a step there. Blends right in. Okay, one other thing that you can use to get through walls are these corridors. Either the regular or any of them. Really, the glass ones, they all work just the same. And so you can come up with a lot of other ways to do stuff using that as well. Whoops, where did I put that? I bet we'll find out soon. So here's just a little example of something that I did that's kind of like an airlock thing that I thought was kind of fun. So you kind of walk through here, the door opens, but that one's closed. I knew it. I knew that's where it was. Get out of there. And then as you get closer, this one opens and that one closes, and you can like actually walk out here and look around at everything. Kind of a EVA experience. And so I'll just show you real quick how I did the wiring on this. I just did the proximity sensors for these, and I put an EM generator up there on top of the Frado. So it's out of the way, and we can get the effect just like if we were at a base on the ground by using logic for our setup and for our doors. And there's a million things you can do with that kind of stuff, obviously. So that's a fun idea. Alright, now this idea takes a bit more work to set it up, but it has a really cool effect once you get it done. And this is using the underwater parts in space. And look at how clear the view is when you use the underwater tubes in space. It's just beautiful. Like, it's just like you're standing outside like we did on the last example. But you don't have to worry about falling to your death because you are actually at least inside. The technique that I use for doing this, I don't do it the way I used to anymore. I actually use Beaglebum's new method for doing it, and so I'm going to put a card up here and show you the tutorial from Beagle on how to do it. The thing is with putting these tubes in a freighter using his technique, you have to adjust it a little bit, which you'll be able to see easily once you look at his tutorial. I'm not going to go over the whole thing again. But the way that he has it set up on a planet is, you know, you can just put the rooms and then you can go and Blender glitch the underwater tunnels just on the side. That's what I was going to show you. I'm not going to do the whole thing though. I'm just going to give a little brief explanation. So see, when you do that on a freighter, the problem is that your glass tunnel is not lined up with where the opening is. And so you just have to make accommodations for that, basically. So, like, we'll take the small rooms and move it over to the side. And he shows a technique for how to do this, to move it over by half, so that it'll fit evenly in the middle of this. Because even if I move it over completely there, you're going to get it not being, oh, I used the block switch. I don't need to do that. No, I don't want to report my face. Thank you. Although they might think that it needs to be recorded, all the stuff I'm doing in here. Okay, not a solid cube, please. Can we have a keyboard room? Maybe. Maybe. There it is. Okay, so say I move it to the side. And then I go to the underwater again, and I do a Blender glitch to put it here. See, it's halfway through. So what you need to do is, just like what he does when he's like trying to add on like a turn, you do the same thing. I guess I'm going to go ahead and show you since I'm going through it already anyway. But I recommend that you go watch this video too, because it's really good. It's got a lot of good information. So you need to move this over by the right amount, basically, to get it lined up with where, oh, why am I looking in there? It's in foundation. So you put one of the cuboid foundations on. This is all just to get it scooted over to the right location. And so you adjacency glitch. There it is. Adjacency glitch to the paving, and then go grab a floor. Put that here. And this is all just getting it moved over the way that you need to be. Okay, so then on that we can put a wall, and then we need to move it over a quarter. So what we're going to do is we're going to get the wall, and then we're going to adjacency to the half wall, which moves us out a quarter instead of a half, right? And so we put another one here, and then we need to do it a quarter down this way also. So you put this here, and again you're going to adjacency over to, no, that just clicked, not what I meant. Have to go, try again. Adjacency, again, sometimes a charm maybe. Nope, it is not. So that means I need to get it a different angle because it's not liking that angle. Now it's just trying to make me look bad. Thank you very much. Okay, so then when I put a wall in here, out of the way, put back in my floor. Now you see from the original location, I am a quarter over and a quarter forward. And so that's going to help me to line up where I need to be. So I can go back. I want to switch back to doing the cuboids again, right? And so to switch back, okay, so we're going to go out to our paver. And we're going to adjacency from the paver back to the cuboid foundation, right? Thank you. Good gracious. That was insane. Okay. So now I'm half over. I mean a quarter over. So now I can go ahead and put in my room. And when I get down here, I can delete these because I just used those as scaffolding to get located where I need to be. So now you see where it is in relation to my original block. And so in order to get this last one in here, we're just going to do an adjacency glitch from a window. It's going to put us halfway and do another one. Okay. Get rid of this one out of the middle. And now we're all lined up, so we can go back to Specialist Underwater, and then we're going to Blender Glitch onto the middle connector. Make sure that you get that turned right so it's going on this one and not on that one. And then we can just do this all the way down. Let's do one more. There we go. And now we don't need all this scaffolding stuff anymore. And then you can pop whatever you want on the end. What I did over there was I did the bubble. You can also add doors just like normal on the back of these, on the end of them, and keep going with whatever you would like to do. Even everyone. Yeah. So lots of possibilities of what you can do with those. Now I'm back inside where I just hit that one. Can't go through because there's no door. So, yeah. You can go through and glitch in the airtight door for the underwater stuff and be able to show you that in his video. I just did the regular walking ones for this, so depending on your purpose, what you're going to do with it. Yeah. Beautiful underwater view while you're in space. Ta-da! Okay, so Now you know that you can do all this stuff. The sky's the limit. Seriously. I mean, you could go hog wild like Zane is doing on his freighter and just build completely out. You can make small rooms. You can add details just like windows into your regular rooms. I'm really excited to see what kinds of things people come up with, because I think it's a really fun, creative idea to do things with. And I would give a little bit of caution if you're a console player and you have a PC player come and put Windows in for you. Maybe just be a little bit careful about how much you do, because, you know, PCs can handle more parts on a freighter than a console can. But I think this makes such a huge difference to freighters, and I hope that HD will eventually make it a regular part of the game so everybody can enjoy these. So I hope you picked up a tip or two and enjoyed this, and thanks for watching. Enjoy the view.